performance. I think, you know, they're all good players. Playing the Premier League, you've got to be a good player. But the one thing that football demands is that you work hard and you run hard. And then your natural abilities come with that. And that Manchester United team are just not doing that at the moment. And I don't know if it's the way they're set up. I don't know if it's the formation. I'm not sure if people are happy.
Just playing devil's advocate here, should the formation or the tactics even matter in terms of attitude and work rate that Paul's...
The only thing I'd say to that, Steve, is sometimes if you're playing in a position that you don't want to play, then it's difficult for you to match where you normally play. So, you know, as we talked about Luke Shaw, gets up and down the field, all of a sudden he's playing centre-half. So
I can just feel fans screaming at the screen as if to say, I give my right arm to be out there and run around. And, you know, and you're talking about work rate away at Newcastle United in the Premier League.
We'd also give our right arm to be playing, wouldn't we? And that's why, again, we go back to leadership with Man United. That's our captain, Bruno. He's all over the place. He's absolutely all over the football pitch. Playing anywhere that he shouldn't be. Do you know what I mean? Anywhere he's positioned, where he's best at. Now, look, I don't know. I said I want to be in the dressing room and see what the manager's telling me. I don't know. But then he's the one as well. Getting players in the positions. Look, McTominay, he's off everywhere as well. You're playing away at Newcastle, a very tough game. Play with discipline, play with team management. He's got a young lad coming to midfield, Kobe Manu, who did okay. But he needs people next to him, he needs help next to him. You can't just go flying off and being disciplined. At some point, you will get your chances, but play with discipline first.
And being advocate, is it because he's captain that he feels that he needs to try and lead the team? So he's going all around the place, trying to lift him, trying to get into position. We're saying, well, give me the ball, give me the ball, I'll get us going. But that does lead to a bit of indiscipline in terms of what the team wants.
There's a good point. He possibly is doing that, trying to almost be a Roy of the Rovers type character. He's trying to be everywhere, he's trying to help everywhere, but sometimes on a football pitch you can run too much. You can do too much, you can be in too many areas of the field. I think it's messing the whole team structure up. I can imagine playing central midfield. I wouldn't know where he was. Where is he? Where is he? You'd have to be telling him all the time, look, stay there, stay in that position. It's not good you being on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. Go and get back on the ball off the centre half. There's no pattern to your play. You don't know where your players are. And I think a strength of a team, you see Newcastle, every one of them players know where each other is. Do you know what I mean? Is that culture? I don't know. Is it discipline from them? Ill discipline from Manchester United? But when you know where people are, you wouldn't understand how much of a difference that makes to your football team. Well, when I knew who was next to me. I knew who the wide players were. I didn't even have to look. Do you know what I mean? In this team, they're just so disjointed, so all over the place that it's an indiscipline, but it happens that many times. You have to wonder, what is the manager giving to him? Does he like it like that? He can't possibly like it with the way they played tonight. But as Les said, going back to just giving effort more than anything, working hard. That left back, Livramento, must have got in 4 or 5 times in that first half. Now, 1 time, possibly, 2 times, half get away with it. But then the 3rd, 4th and 5th time, come on, can you not see that yourself? Can someone not say to him, you've got to be back here? I'm amazed he didn't get taken off at half time. And I think Garnacho's the same, so he walks back.
Much more to discuss at the end of that one from both sides of the Sunday. Well, he is getting rewards. He scored in 4 consecutive home Premier League games. The first Newcastle player to do that since Alan Shearer, no less, in 1999. From a Newcastle point of view, first of all, beautifully worked goal.
Yeah, it was. You know, they'd had some real good decisions in the first half and weren't able to take it. But it was a Man United trying to play out from the back. But good interplay here. And Gordon doing what he does. And you find most of his goals have come like that, just coming off the back. You just see Man United sort of like...
I was just about to say, Paul, from United's point of view, though, the way they can see
it. This is crazy. You watch Darlow, the highlight there, going into a midfield position there when his centre-half is receiving the ball. If they lose the ball there, which they do, look at Darlow now, scrambling back, trying to get to the centre-forward, leaves his right winger, which is, I think it's Trippier in the end. It slides a lovely ball across, and again Wan-Bissaka at the back post sleeps. Look at him sleeping, watching again. But what Darlow is doing in that midfield position, when Manchester United keeper has got the ball, I don't know. Now look again, you might be going back to that's what the manager wants, but they're all into this Pep Guardiola idea of fullbacks going into midfield. Your fullback's got to be good enough to do it. Darlow, none of Manchester, well, possibly Luke Shaw, who's actually playing centre half today. But the other fullbacks, they're not capable of receiving the ball in midfield like that. It's just so open, crazy defending from Darlow. What he's thinking of, I don't know. And again, Wan-Bissaka falls asleep and they can see the goal. And they'd actually defended okay throughout the game. Got a little bit of luck, I suppose, throughout it. Newcastle by far the dominant team, and they end up giving a goal away with stupid play, I think.
And we keep talking about Eddie Howe improving young players in particular. Is Anthony Gordon a case in point?
I think a classic example of it. I think, since he's gone to Newcastle, he's gone from strength to strength. I think he only ever scored 4 goals at Everton in his time there. And he's come to Newcastle in a season. He's come to Newcastle and he looks like he's got a new lease of life. And the way Eddie's playing him and he's getting the best out of him, and week in, week out, you've seen him. As he said, they're all walking around with knocks at the moment, but they want to play because they're on a high at the moment.
They certainly are. Positives all round for Newcastle. Big negatives today, though, for Manchester United. Their reaction.
Harry, that must feel like a really tough result to take in what's been a gruelling week.
Yeah, it's been a tough week. Obviously, 3 away games in 6 days. To be fair, the first half, we looked like we'd played our 3rd away game in 6 days. The tempo wasn't there, the intensity wasn't there. They was a lot better than us in the first half, especially. We spoke at half time, and I felt we just needed to come out and start the second half a little bit better. We grew into the game, but we just didn't have enough in the end.
Why couldn't you find a way through in the end? Why wasn't there enough there?
Well, I think the last 20 minutes we put pressure on. We could have got a goal. We had 1 disallowed, 1 off the line. They defended the box really well in the final moments. But no, we didn't create enough throughout the game. I felt our threat wasn't big enough throughout the game, and I'd say they deserved the victory in the end.
There's been a lot of talk about Marcus Rashford's form, a lot of negativity around it. How's he feeling? He didn't look too happy when he came off.
Yeah, listen, Marcus had an unbelievable season last season. Scored numerous goals for us. This season it hasn't clicked for him. He's working hard. He's putting everything into it in training. And everyone in that dressing room knows what Marcus is and knows what he's about. And he'll get back to his best, I'm sure.
All of those 3 away games in 6 days got a reasonable bearing on today's performance or not?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of an excuse. As we said before the game, it's difficult coming back from a Wednesday night game into 3 or 4 hour flight. It can be tough, yeah, but I think an extra few hours does give you a little bit of time psychologically to get over that. You had a nice rest this afternoon when you could have been playing. But there's no excuse for the way he played, I don't think. There was never any... Look, if that game was 3 or 4-0 to Newcastle, I don't think we'd be sat here complaining. They never threatened attacking-wise. OK, they had the chance with Garnacho early on, but it wasn't an outstanding chance. Other than that, Harry said they came into the game, they grew into the game. I think I missed that part. But they did. Look, they threw the ball into the box, but I thought Newcastle defended it quite easily. They had the one off the line, I suppose, when Reguilon with the volley, then the offside goal. Other than that, I thought it was just so easy for Newcastle. They made life easy for them. As I say, if it was 3 or 4-0, I think we'd be sat here saying, yeah, fair enough. It was a fair result.
And the only downside for Newcastle is, unfortunately, another injury. Nick Pope has been in fine form. We make that 12 unavailable to Eddie Howe now.
And I think most of those 12, if you looked at them, they would all be starters for Newcastle. So tough times, and so he'll be pleased with the result in terms of what he's down to and what the players are giving him at the moment. But that's obviously a major concern for them going into the next round. And they play Everton during the week, so will they be, be looking to fill the same 11? I think they'll have to, because when you look at their bench, it's as we said earlier on, there's a couple of goalkeepers and some teenage players. So that's tough for Newcastle at the moment.
United at home to Chelsea Wednesday. Is that the best thing to get a game as quickly as possible back at Old Trafford after today?
Yeah, I'd say so. I don't think Chelsea are the team they was. But they're going to have to improve. They're going to have to improve massively. I don't think I'd train till Wednesday. I'd just leave and try and get some energy back in the legs and somehow go into that game knowing they're going to have to work hard against a decent Chelsea team. Don't get me wrong, but it's a game they should be winning.
Jermaine Genius is still with me. Ali McCoy's just come down from the commentary box to join us. Good to see you, Ali. Did you enjoy that, and did Newcastle deserve it?
Well, yes, and answer your first question, I really enjoyed it. Did they deserve it? You better believe they deserved it. Better team by some considerable distance. United weren't a threat at all. I thought they were poor for the entire game. I know they had a little bit of possession. You know, last 5-10 minutes, you'd have been surprised if they hadn't. But if you're a Manchester United fan travelling up here tonight, this evening, you are leaving probably, I'm doing them a favour and saying very disappointed, because that was a really poor performance from Manchester United. That said, take nothing away from that Newcastle team, who thoroughly deserved the victory. Could have and should have been more, Lindsay.
And no surprises who the goal scorer was when they finally did make the breakthrough.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good chat with him before, didn't I? And you could see he exuded this confidence in the way that he plays. And I actually think he's really clever here. Yes, it's not a great ball from Luke Shaw, who I actually thought was one of Manchester United's better players. But there's just a little moment where he's just a lot sharper in his mind than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's kind of in a period of like looking for him. Like, he knows he's there, he gets back into a really good spot. But just watch Anthony Gordon, he's always thinking like, I'm one step ahead of you. The minute you turn your back on me, I'm gone. And that's exactly what he does. So he sees him, Wan-Bissaka, he turns away, that's it, it's too late. And that is just where he's at right now. And the rhythm of this side, he knows Kieran Trippier is going to deliver it right on the spot. And they thoroughly deserved it at that point, and this place just erupted.
He's playing with such confidence at the moment, isn't he, Ali, Anthony Gordon?
Oh, it's terrific. It really is. I mean, I mentioned it in co-coms as well. Lindsay looks at, you know, when he didn't have the ball, he works his socks off, he's closing people down, he's winning a throw-in, he's getting the crowd going, as did a number of the Newcastle players, which is great to see. But his movement there for the goals is first class. Is actually, I think it's a proper centre-forward goal scorer's movement. Wan-Bissaka has a little look to his right-hand side, and as soon as he turns his back, bang, Gordon's away, and it's too late for Wan-Bissaka to react. And everybody looks at the goal and thinks, oh, it's a tap into the back post, but he does his work beforehand and how he gets his half yard.
And we spoke before about Anthony Gordon's England hopes, didn't we, Ali? On that performance tonight, on current form in recent games, could you put Marcus Rashford in that squad ahead of Anthony Gordon?
No way, shape or form could you in this evening's performance. Absolutely not. And if you're talking about current form in general, I mean, tonight's performance is, there's only one of them you think about, but even overall in recent weeks, certainly Anthony Gordon's been, you know, playing far better. The only thing you would say, it's a heck of a tough position to get in. You look at the players they've got there, when it's Grealish, Foden, Saka, Rashford, Anthony Gordon's forced himself into it. It's, you know, Gareth Southgate, you know, doesn't have his problems to look for in that area because he's got some great talent. But in tonight's performance and in recent performances, Anthony Gordon's certainly got to come into the reckoning.
I think he's got to give it serious consideration at the minute. I think, you know, one thing we know about Gareth is he's very loyal to his players, whether they're playing well or not, or even if some of them have not even been playing at times and he still picked them. And I think he will still, you know, stick by Marcus Rashford for a period of time, but there's no doubt you can't ignore what Anthony Gordon is doing at the minute. You know, again, that reliability that he's bringing, he's adding goals, assists to the game, and Ali keeps mentioning the work rate. That's the difference, I think, right now between him and Marcus Rashford. Is, you know, you watch Marcus today, you don't want to run back. He does not want to track anyone. Where, you know, Anthony Gordon, the work rate that he's getting through every game that this man's putting him through is it is unbelievable.
Yes, Eddie Howe has just come out to join us now. Good to see you, Eddie. Congratulations. The guys were just singing the praises of Anthony Gordon, once again delivering for you tonight. Just how much are you enjoying helping him fulfill his potential?
Yeah, I think enormously. He's from day one when he came here, you could see the passion in his personality, his desire to achieve and be successful. And he's really worked at his game, and he's one of those players that every day wants to do more. We have to sometimes get him off the training pitch. He gives everything. Physically today was so good, and he's up against a very good defender in Wan-Bissaka as well. So it was a really good battle between the two. But I'm delighted he's scoring the goals now and sort of getting the recognition that he deserves.
Ed, I want to ask you, for me, your team on Tuesday night, I thought you gave you absolutely everything. Tonight, the exact same. Was there any concerns you had before the game about a level of, I guess you wouldn't speak to the players at all about fatigue, but did you have any concerns that there might be a little bit of fatigue in your team's legs this evening?
No, I didn't. I think we rested them well, we hoped. We had, I think, a good time between PSG and this game to get the players ready physically. Even so, though, we're well aware of our situation, and there's lots of potential danger signs for any team when you go into another game so quickly. But the players have responded again. I mean, what a response to that late goal in Paris, where, again, easy to feel sorry for ourselves. We rolled our sleeves out. I thought we gave a brilliant display today. I thought we really worked very good.
Yeah, I mean, performances all over the pitch today, Eddie. Picking out your two fullbacks, Livramento, Kieran Trippier. Were you surprised by the amount of space that they were getting in that first half?
No, I don't think so. I think they're very intelligent players. Kieran and Tino, they have a way of, especially Kieran, he's been doing it for many, many years. Very creative. He's got a lovely way of just holding on to the ball to see the right pass. And Tino, I think, played a different way today than he has previously. He really did run late and gave them problems with late runs with Anthony coming inside. So it was a good combination of both sides for us.
Was it specific, Eddie, when you're looking at it? Because if you're a fullback, clearly you've got defensive duties, but I just thought your fullbacks took the Manchester United wide players clearly into an area that they don't want to be in, and it was very effective.
Yeah, but it's always a game of cat and mouse between the two. As a winger, you want the opposite. You want to try and stay high because you want to be closer to your goal. I think that's in part down to our midfield, though, because you need good possession in order to put your fullbacks higher. And I have to compliment our three midfielders, especially Louis Miley again today for his performance. With that controlled possession, allowed us to play higher up the pitch.
And Eddie, the one downside for tonight, it looks like you're losing another key player tonight when Nick Pope went off. What more can you tell us about how that injury looks and how big a blow is that with the current situation in the squad?
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive blow for us if Nick's going to be out for any length of time. It's usually the way. It looks really innocuous, but they look the most serious ones at times. You can see he's in distress there. I think he's dislocated his shoulder just diving. I think the arm kept going, and it looks like we could lose him. But I have to compliment Martin again because he's come on in a really difficult situation with 10 minutes to go. And that's not nice for a goalkeeper to do that, and I thought he did really well.
To come through a week like you've come through, games against Chelsea, PSG, Manchester United, with three performances like that, how proud are you?
Yeah, I couldn't be happier with the players tonight. I thought gave a really good display today against a very good team, and I think that bodes well, hopefully, for the confidence levels within the group, that when we do start to get some players back, which hopefully we will in the not too distant future, we'll be really strong. But the character and the effort levels have been of the highest quality.
Eddie, thanks for coming out to join us. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Cheers.
I think it was a deserved win from Newcastle. Although in the end we could have come back last 15 minutes. Shot from clearance of the line from Miguelon, and that offside goal from Anthony, Harry Maguire. But all over, it was a deserved win from Newcastle.
Is that how you thought the game might go, that you might have to hang on for a loss of the game and then try and catch them, because there were a lot of players missing? They looked like at the end you were outrunning them, really.
Not in the first part, but I think they had a good team. Put out a good team. I think probably one of the strongest team they have. But in the end, they didn't have the subs we had, and we brought some energy in, and that had a good effect on the game.
It felt like they had more energy for most of maybe the first 75, 80 minutes. Is that fair?
Yes.
Why do you think that was?
There are reasons. I will talk with my team about this.
Going forward, how did you think the front three worked? Does it work playing Alejandro Garnacho left and Marcus Rashford right? It felt like Marcus maybe didn't get into the game tonight.
As I say, I will talk with my team, and you can say a lot about it. In other games it worked. I think Garnacho, he played a good game. He was a threat. So if you mention that, I think it worked.
Thanks, Eric. Much appreciated.
Eric, a defeat to end a tough week of away games. What do you say to your players after that?
We had a tough first half, and we said in half time, okay, we are pleased we are 0-0. We have to stay in the game, but we didn't. But then we had a good comeback in the last part of the game, but that is the fight what we have to show.
Was it Newcastle's pressure? Did it just get too much?
There are always reasons, but we will talk tomorrow with the team about it. And the rewards are for Newcastle United. We go back, we will talk about this, and then we move on to Wednesday.
You're unable to find a goal tonight. What's the biggest concern for you from the performance?
Well, as I said, I will talk with my team. In the end, we stayed in the game, and we had some good chances by Reguilón. Was a clearance on the line. We thought we scored a goal, but just offside. So we could have drawn, but all over, you have to say Newcastle, they deserve to win.
There's been lots of negativity around Marcus Rashford's form. Why do you think, from a coach's perspective, that he's struggling this season?
I talked with him about that, and not with the media.
We could see also that you were unhappy when Bruno Fernandes went down after a tackle. What conversation has been had around that?
Yeah, I think everyone has seen what happened. And before that, I think we had a very good break, and we could create a big chance. And there was a foul, and this was not even a foul. No, okay, but it happened in the game, so also we leave that behind us.
You mentioned before the match that the gap between games was a bit of an issue. Is the fixture pile-up becoming a problem?
This week it was not in our advantage, but you have to take it as it is.
How do you put things right now then, Eric? Because the next game just around the corner. You've got Chelsea on Wednesday. What's the main focus?
This team is resilient, and for instance, we have seen after City, we had a bad defeat, but then we keep together, we stick to the plan, and we keep going.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, it's Chelsea next for Manchester United. 99 Premier League points under Eric Ten Hag. Manchester United, 75 of those points, Ali, have been against teams in the bottom half of the table. But what does that say?
Well, listen to his interview there. I mean, he's trying to find positives. And if you're looking for a positives from Eric Ten Hag's point of view, yes, he stayed in the game at half-time. Yes, they got a goal disallowed. Listen, he's an intelligent man. He knows he's got a problem if he gets that level of performance from Manchester United again. That was miles off it. Absolutely miles off it. Newcastle were excellent, deserved to win by a lot more. The disappointing thing from my point of view watching Manchester United, apart from and I really mean apart from the two centre-backs, I don't think you can give pass marks to anybody, really. There was a lack of... It's a horrible thing to level. I mean, it really is a horrible thing to level at a professional football player when you question commitment and a desire to run about. But that's the question you've got to ask about some of the Manchester United players this evening, I'm afraid.
Do you think they're not playing for him then, saying that? When you're questioning commitment?
I personally thought tonight there were signs that there was a couple of players in there for me that either wasn't happy with the tactics that was put to them or wasn't happy with their positions on the pitch. But the body language of a team tells you a lot at times. And there was a few of them that were sending a message to the manager, I thought, today. I thought Marcus Rashford on that right-hand side in particular, the way that he just walked around, throwing his arms around was one for me that said, look, I don't want to be able to play on this right-hand side. No tracking back. You had, Martial getting run by Fabian Schär from that centre-half, running into midfield, doing whatever he wants. There were too many of those moments that I looked at and I thought, he seems to be such a disciplinarian off the pitch, Eric Ten Hag. But those players, I didn't see that same level of respect from the players on the pitch today, and I think that's a big concern that needs to be sorted.
Do you know something? You said something there. Are they playing for him? And I really dislike that because do you know something? It's got nothing to do with the manager. Right? When you go out and you go over that green line or that white line, I beg your pardon, you're playing for yourself and you're playing for the 5,000 supporters that have travelled. It's nothing to do with the manager.
So you're saying the players are letting themselves down?
Of course they are. 100%. Never mind letting the manager down and not carrying out the manager's instructions. You've got to look at yourself first of all. Right, the manager picks a side. I've played for lots of managers and coaches I didn't particularly go on very well with and things like that to make decisions you don't agree with. But the fact of the matter is when you go onto that pitch, you represent yourself, you represent your family, you represent the travelling support and the millions of supporters that are around the world. That's who you play for. You've got to represent them and do it in a manner that wasn't, we didn't see tonight.
I totally agree, but I just think that we're in an era now where I think players are fully aware that they can almost get away with that, knowing that they're putting so much pressure on the manager that he'll go or he'll get sacked eventually, and then they'll get back to being on their toes and looking good again because a new manager's come through the door that they want to impress. And I just think tonight, when I looked at that performance, I mean, you look at that kind of performance here with those fixes that you're looking at. There's not many points there at all, and
3 home games on the way.
Well, one of them they'll be getting knocked out of the Champions League, against Bayern if they turn up and put in a big performance. We don't know what you're going to get from Chelsea. Granted, I just don't think the home or away games are relevant here. This team, from a cohesive point of view tonight, if that's what they're going to be going forward, you can write off the Champions League.
Welcome back. So goalless at St James's Park at half-time. Newcastle have had 14 shots. How are your former club not ahead, Les?
I've got no idea. I've seen this before, to be honest. This is a great effort from Trippier, and I thought that was it. That breaks the deadlock, and unfortunately, it comes off the bar, and as we see here, not over the line. So that was probably the closest they'd come. But I've been so impressed with how Newcastle approached the game, how they've gone at it. As I said before, first couple of games after Champions League games, they've not been at it, but this game's got them up for it, and it's been all Newcastle in this first half, and they've made blocks. The only thing you'd probably be disappointed about is they've not tested the goalkeeper enough. With all the possession and all the shots that they've had, not tested the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I agree with Les. It's been all Newcastle, but a lot of Man United's games have been like this, even when they've won. So I wouldn't rule Man United out yet. I've said that half chance with Garnacho, but it's been all Newcastle. It's almost as if United are sitting back waiting to lose this game, and whether he may change at half time, I don't know, but something needs to change.
Let's just clear up that we don't think there was any case for a handball against Dalot.
I mean, if you're a Newcastle fan and a supporter, you're saying, well, what's the difference between this and the other night? We're sitting there saying, no, we don't think it's a penalty, it shouldn't be a penalty. But what happened to them the other night shouldn't have been a penalty, but it wasn't. There's no difference. He plays it up onto his arm, and it was called a penalty the other night. And you're looking at this and saying, well, like I said, if you're a Newcastle fan, you're saying, well, why is that not a penalty?
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, I say I totally agree. we have to leave Tuesday night now, Les. Yeah, it's not a penalty. It's absolute accident. He's obviously not meant to do it, and I think the right decision was made.
Why have Newcastle had so much joy down Newcastle's left?
I think, well, when you look at it, you've got Gordon and Livramento who are attacking Wan-Bissaka. Rashford is not. It's 2-on-1 with Wan-Bissaka every time he gets it, and they're combining well, and they're getting in. Rashford's not doing the tracking back, which you don't really expect him to do. That's not his game, but in a situation like this, he needs to come and double up, because it's the first time he's done it, and probably that's why he's not doing it, because he goes past him so easily.
Yeah, look, Marcus hasn't offered much going forward, and defensively he's been really poor. Livramento looks the biggest threat, I think, down that side especially. He's been in 4 or 5 times. Now, at times, I think Wan-Bissaka has been asked to go into Gordon and man-mark Gordon. But when he does that, he leaves a big hole, and Marcus has got to do his job, and he's clearly not doing it. He's sleeping. You have to think United are going to pay for this at some point, unless something changes. I'm convinced he'll have to take someone else outside the right-hand side, or tell Marcus to do his job, because he's not doing it.
Yeah, totally. It's wide open on that side, and if you feel if Newcastle are going to score, it's going to come from